Hey, campfire crew, let's get it on.
See? It's okay. You saw it on the television.
I bought my two sons rape whistles to wear. Today, they actually used it. So, my stepsons are 7 and 10. They play with 5 other boys in our area which are of similar age and all go to the same school in our neighborhood. There's a police station in our neighborhood as well, and we live in a city that is large, but we feel very safe here and have almost zero crime around us. So when they all want to go to the park and play with friends, my husband and I agree it's okay. They'll be gone for hours, going from house to house, swimming, jumping on a trampoline, scootering, skateboarding, and sometimes they're all at my house in my pool. It's a good system. I am constantly texting with the other parents, etc., so we do have a pretty safe system. However, our state has been known for human trafficking because we are close enough to the border. It is something that I worry about. So I bought them bright orange rape whistles and tied them to their backpacks. Sometimes they all ride bikes to the school together. At home, I had them each blow into the whistle as hard as they could so they knew how loud it was and to only use it for emergencies, which we discussed. Today, on break from school, the kids wanted to do a lemonade stand. Something in my gut told me to say no, that's not a good idea, even though they had their own little garage sale around Christmas to make money to buy gifts, and the neighborhood thought it was so cute they actually got a ton of donations and made some pretty good money. I didn't have any worries that time, but today was different. As my older stepson was making his signs, I reminded him about interacting with strangers and that he needed to watch his brother, and so he asked me, should I bring my whistle? And I said yes, great idea. I took it off his backpack and put it around his neck, and I told him that I was going to leave the window open. I said, if you feel scared or if something happens to you, blow that whistle like there's no tomorrow and I'll come running. They were going to be right on our street corner of our neighborhood, right where the main street through our neighborhood is, so a decent amount of cars would be going by. An hour or so passed, and I was into a documentary when I heard that fucking whistle, and my stomach dropped. I dashed outside to see a flashy red car, like a Charger, I believe. I was looking and running towards the kids, and so I wasn't paying close enough attention to the car, but I immediately saw all of the kids were accounted for, as the guy was getting back into the car. My older son told me that our younger son, who really likes cars as does his dad, that the man in the car had gotten out and was talking to them, asking them their ages, and invited my younger son to get in. I literally told my other son earlier, do not get into or near anyone's cars. So he said he didn't feel safe anymore, and that's when he blew the whistle as hard as he could. My younger son said the car was what was known as a demon, which I believed was a Dodge Charger. That's what my son told the police. I got a good look at the guy, but I didn't get the plates. He was getting into the car as I was making sure the kids were accounted for, and I pounded the fuck out of his hood asking him why he would ever invite a child into his car. And then he drove away. I wasn't thinking clearly and was in a bit of a panic, so I didn't get the plates. Though I was right there. I'm so pissed at myself for that. But the kids were all talking, and I just went into protective mode and called the police. They searched our entire neighborhood for the car and put out a description of the guy and the car, with now a possibly dented hood from me. They put out an alert and said they were taking it very seriously, so at least there was that. I'm so thankful for that $10 whistle I ordered on Amazon. Sometimes you just know when shit is about to go down. I'm still shaken up about it, and all the kids and parents are super concerned. We have a community website, and we posted about our encounter on it for the other parents to be aware of everything as well. I don't know for certain that the guy was up to no good, but if he wasn't, Why would he have left so suddenly, you know? I don't know. My view on safety has been wrecked, and it's going to take a while for things to feel okay again, I think. Everyone, make sure your kids have a plan for emergencies. They have intuitions also, and there is just something about that gut feeling you shouldn't ignore. It amazes me sometimes. Edit. So the car was actually a Dodge Challenger, not a Charger. Thanks to someone for pointing out the difference, and I'm now certain it was a Challenger. My young son was actually right. I can't believe it. I showed him the two cars side by side, and we all agreed he was right. He knew it was a Challenger. The Bus Stop by Successful Wafer. When I was still in school, I would normally take the bus most of the time until I got my license. The bus stop wasn't far from my house at all, it was just a few blocks. There were two separate paths you could take to get to there from my house. One was just walking along the road and taking a right and walking down some more road, and then you'd be there. The second path was just a straight shot to the stop, but it was through a patch of very thick forest. The first way was maybe like a 15-minute walk, while the second path through the forest was about 10. I was running late one day and decided to take the path through the forest, and it was the start of winter, so it was pitch black outside at the time I had to wake up for high school. I was either a freshman or a sophomore at the time. I started on the path and kept my face pointed forward despite the eagerness to look over my shoulder at every little snap and crack. Just as I saw the bus stop through the trees, I heard a very loud snap, like a tree had just been ripped apart, and it was so loud that it echoed in the fields surrounding the area. I stormed forward, terrified out of my mind, and thankfully there was another kid there at the bus stop. I think his name was John or Jay. We were in the same grade, so I debated bringing up the loud crack, but I didn't want to sound crazy if he somehow hadn't heard it. But he beat me to it and said, "Dude, what the hell was that? Did you hear that?" Mind you, it was still pitch black out, and we could barely see each other standing like 2 feet apart. I didn't know him very well since he was newer to our school, and I didn't really want to bring much attention to it, thinking that if it was something supernatural, we should just ignore it. So I simply nodded, and he picked up on my unwillingness to talk about it, and he also just nodded. I was standing way closer to him than I normally would, and since I'm incredibly awkward, I would just stand on the opposite side as everyone else. But this was a special exception, so I stood just a couple of feet away, seeking just a semblance of comfort from what had just occurred. He went on his phone and so did I, but I felt like something was watching me. Not behind me, but in front of me. I just moved my eyes to look, keeping my head down, and saw a figure dash into view about 13 feet away. It looked like a deer, which is very common where I'm from, so I just ignored it, until I felt so uneasy that I had to take another glance. Whatever it was, stood up. Yeah, stood up. I looked over to the other kid hoping that he was also seeing it, but he was glued to his phone. I looked back, and at the same time, whatever the hell that was looking at me, and it was still dark as night, so I couldn't make out any facial features, just a shadow. It looked back, and then it got back down on all fours, and ran so incredibly quick that it was just a blur. It ran back into the field behind it, and not a minute later, the bus pulled up. I walked onto it first, and the kid sat behind me, and before he sat down said, "That was crazy." It was the most serious I had ever heard him, so I know he at least caught a glimpse of whatever that thing was. Does anyone know what it could have been? It still haunts me to this day. Stalked by a Killer by Buckle Up, Buttercup. I haven't shared this before, but it's been on my mind. In high school, a friend's mom was going out of town, and she planned on having people over, but for whatever reason, it ended up being just her and I having a sleepover. She may have canceled the party plans to not get in trouble, but regardless, everyone in the small town knew about it. About midnight, we heard scraping sounds coming from the back bedroom. We thought it was friends trying to freak us out. It continued, but we didn't see anything. This went on for a while, and we were getting scared. And we peeked out and saw a person's head in the large front window. He had a distinctive hairstyle, so we knew who it was. He was a very quiet guy that was always around but seemed out of it. No one really knew his story, but he was always on the fringes of things. We thought he was weird, but harmless. So we called the police and they looked around. They found pry marks on the back bedroom window frame, and we told them who we saw in the window. Nothing else happened that night, but we still were pretty scared. Cut to a few years later. The person that was stalking us that night broke into a house and brutally murdered a woman that lived alone. It was a town tragedy. The family ended up tearing down the house and leaving an empty lot behind. And I'll never forget seeing the shadow of his head in that window. Hey gang, thanks for listening to this episode. If you have a true scary story of any nature that you'd like me to narrate, email it to unclejosh.truescarystories@gmail.com. I read them all. And if you have a true scary story about Halloween, please send that in immediately. Looking forward to another great Halloween extravaganza this year. Follow me on social media, links to that are in the description. And if you're catching this on YouTube and you like what you heard and saw, why not give it a thumbs up? Leave a comment. I'd love to know what you thought of the stories. And if you're not a subscriber, hey, become a subscriber today. Maybe even tell a friend about my channel. I sure would appreciate it. It does help out with the algorithms. Everyone, be excellent to each other. And until next time, be wary of things that go bump in the night. It could be anything. A ghost, a monster, or the guy next door.
You seem fantastic, hey, hey, hey. Run, 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 run. Please, 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 you are fantastic. Run, 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 run. fantastic. Hey, hey, hey. You are fantastic. Hey, hey, hey. I've seen fantastic.